I'm here at the scene of the crime spree, right behind me.
Stranger.
Vice Mayor Strange, you'll address her properly.
You can kiss my foot.
Mr. Rickard, you're out of order.
FBI, we are asking you to investigate this council. Please look into this council, how they award contracts, the bid process, how they use their positions to benefit their friends and themselves, how they use their positions to attack residents and critics and neighbors and business competition. FBI, will you please look into this?
And I welcome the FBI here. If you notice, Mr. Thompson, with his plea for the FBI and his watchdog group, this city runs the cleanest in this whole county. I guarantee
He was served a federal subpoena this morning.
Did receive a subpoena this morning, and we're going to cooperate 100% with the subpoena.
And most of you who were involved up here, you gaslighted me. You tried to say I was crazy. And now we know that that's not true. And there's a lot of other issues I've been asking about as well.
Well, as the deadline approached, a candidate emerged today. A great candidate has emerged to run against Geoff McConnell, the sitting vice mayor in Panama City Beach. And this is very exciting because it appeared as though McConnell was going to skate right in, that he was not going to draw a challenger. And I'm a big believer that in local government, candidates and especially incumbents need challengers, don't you? I wish more people would run for office. And today, a really terrific candidate. A really qualified candidate who strikes a stark contrast between herself and Geoff McConnell has signed up to run. Now, it's important to know that if you live in the city limits of Panama City Beach, and you can check that by going to bayvotes.org. That's the supervisor of elections website, bayvotes.org. And you can find out if you are within Panama City Beach city limits. And this particular seat, there are 5 members of the council, the mayor, and then Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3, and Ward 4. This particular seat is for Ward 3. It's a 4-year term. And the election is in April. So it's coming up quickly. And her name is Mary Coburn, Coburn, Mary Coburn. And I posted about her on my Facebook page, give you a little bit of insight. But it's going to be super important because McConnell is going to get all of the support of the St. Joe Company and the other shady developers because they can count on his loyalty to vote for them and their interests at the expense of residents in Panama City Beach. I'll tell you about a little bit about Miss Coburn, who I spoke to today, to get some information about her. Never met her, but I couldn't be more thrilled. Let me give you some background on her. And again, who can vote, what she'll need to do to win. And I'd like to get your thoughts and comments so that if she watches the program, she's never been in politics. She retired a few years ago and is not happy with all of the overdevelopment in her hometown. She grew up in Panama City Beach. She graduated from Bay High. I'm going to tell you more about her and how you can support her if you want to, because she's going to need it if she's going to beat Geoff McConnell. And I'll also share with you tonight some reasons why Geoff McConnell's got to go, including a video of his foul mouth. It's a hot time in Florida, and my friend Ryan could make sure your air conditioning is running at peak efficiency. He could even install a new one, built to a higher standard, American standard. Find out more at PCAirrepair.com. Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777. So even before I get started much more, if you want people to know that there is a candidate the election's in April, it's coming up quick. I hope that you'll tag friends, voters who live in Panama City Beach, perhaps share the show. It's going to be interesting, especially when I show you Councilman McConnell and tell you a little bit more about why he needs to go and the corruption that surrounds him. But there it is. You can like and follow, share, tag friends. I hope you will. But let's go to my Facebook page, and I will show you what I posted just today, so you can get the basics here. Let's look at this. All right. You can read it with me. But this is what I know. Geoff McConnell is no longer running unopposed for Panama City Beach Council. Mary Coburn became an official candidate for Ward 3 today. She graduated from Bay High in 1970, and her family owned the South Pacific Motel, which was located near Lowwater Lake, you may remember. And I wrote here that Ms. Coburn had retired a few years ago from Long Beach. That's true, but she did not work in city government, so I made a correction. She retired from a nonprofit organization that focused on downtown revitalization. The nonprofit worked closely with City Hall and the police department. She moved back to Panama City Beach and has decided to run for office because of her concerns over rampant overdevelopment in her hometown. She's a fantastic candidate to defeat incumbent Geoff McConnell, who had to comply with an FBI subpoena after the grand jury found probable cause for public corruption. And that investigation is still ongoing. McConnell, who ran 4 years ago as a businessman, refuses to answer why his businesses have since dissolved. He claimed that Orion Services LLC and Orion JD3 LLC were government contracting companies. Neither of these companies lasted more than 2 years. Soon after being elected in 2018, McConnell and Avian parted ways. Avian is a real government contracting company where McConnell was a regional manager located here in Panama City Beach. But when he ran, he talked like it was his company. McConnell and Avian parted ways after the government contracting business restructured and removed some of his management responsibilities. Mary Coburn, the new candidate, will need to raise money to launch her successful campaign in order to restore honest government to the city of Panama City Beach. The St. Joe Company and other shady developers will do all they can to retain McConnell's loyalty to them and at the expense of PCB residents. But now voters have an attractive and qualified candidate to replace McConnell in the April election. And again, it's important to know that all registered PCB voters can vote for Mary Coburn. You don't have to live in Ward 3 to vote for her. All right. So that's important stuff. Exciting stuff. Isn't that exciting? What are you all saying about her? Have her on your program. I will certainly invite her, Nancy. Absolutely. Let's see. This candidate needs all the info that's going on. You know, the good news about it, Nancy, is she was born here, she was raised here, and she knows a lot about how local governments are supposed to function. Being part of a nonprofit that worked with City Hall to revitalize a downtown in Long Beach. Now, here's what's going to happen is you're going to get Arthur Cullen, the political operative and dumpster diver, who will, I mean, they're awful humans. Geoff McConnell, and you may recall what they did to me when I ran for office in 2018. They didn't have a mugshot of me because I've never been arrested. So, of course, they came up with just pick whatever is the most embarrassing part of somebody's life and try to make that your entire identity. But Geoff McConnell, you know what he's like. I'm going to show you a video to remind you if you don't know what he's like. You're not going to believe the video I'm about to show you. And I'll tell you a little bit about why he has to go. Yes, indeed, Geoff McConnell had his phone searched as he had to respond to an FBI subpoena in which the grand jury found probable cause for public corruption. And, from what I understand, McConnell wiped his phone. You may recall I confronted him with that claim at a city council meeting. He wiped his phone, from what I understand, and he has not denied it to me, at least not specifically that I can remember in any convincing way. But that truth is going to come out. I asked him, who remembers when I asked him at the council meeting, you wiped it like with a cloth? Oh my goodness. So that investigation continues. He ran as a businessman, but immediately he parts ways with the business as they took away his responsibilities. And he opened 2 LLCs that didn't last for 2 years. They were government contracting businesses. He has a vile temper. Are you as excited as I am that Geoff McConnell is not going to run unopposed? This is a huge and exciting day. I should play like celebration music, right? Like Kool and the Gang, right? Celebrate good times. Yes, and that's exactly right, William. That's exactly right. When the smear campaign comes out and Geoff McConnell tries to distance himself from it like he did in my campaign, and I know now that it was indeed Geoff McConnell, his campaign manager, Arthur Cullen, and Todd Neves of Neves Media. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but those illegal postcards are being investigated by the FBI as well. You want to see the video of McConnell freaking out and cussing, throwing F-bombs? Is this the kind of person we want representing Ward 3? All right, I'll show that to you. Oh, it's really unbelievable, the kinds of fits that he has and the way he treats people. Right after this.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
Have you received a speeding ticket for which you want no points placed on your driving record? I'm El Saulene, 850-215-0628. Let me help you.
All right, let me share the meltdown McConnell had. It was about 4-6 months ago when I asked him about what I just told you. And also I was asking about a decision that a judge made, and none of them would answer. They all just sat there. Oh, you're not going to believe what I'm about to show you. Make sure it's all pulled up just right. Okay. This is not very long. This is a sort of a highlight reel of what happened that day. And by the way, he does throw the F-bomb. So if you have kids around you, that's the caveat right here.
Don't approach me. You'll make up your shit, but there's nothing I do. And you know I'm honest, and you know I don't do shit.
You're not honest.
And you still do your fucking shit.
You're not honest at all.
Get out of here.
You're not honest at all.
I am very honest.
Can you take that part out so we don't have a problem with that judge again and First Amendment rights are respected? What do you think, Vice Mayor McConnell? Is he awake?
Do you have anything else?
It's kind of weird. Can you take that part out? Are you concerned at all about that third party part? You're just staring at me. She's staring at me. I think Geoff might have stroked out. Or is it? Wait, there he is. He's back. Can I just get an answer on that? I mean, are you guys concerned about that at all?
We'll move on if you like us to.
It's just kind of weird. Seems like a legitimate concern, don't you think?
It is a legitimate concern. I'm not concerned about it here.
Does it? I mean, does it contradict what the judge said 4 years ago?
It does not.
No, that's all I was asking for. Goodness. No. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment?
You'll make up your shit, but there's nothing I do. And you know I'm honest, and you know I don't do shit.
You're not honest.
And you still do your fucking shit.
You're not honest at all.
Get out of here.
You're not honest at all.
I am very honest.
So that's one of his meltdowns. Now that went on for a long time. We only got about 15 seconds of it. Somebody turned the camera on. The city of Panama City Beach says they don't have audio surveillance. I don't know if they do or not. But it was, I mean, F-bomb after F-bomb after F-bomb. Frank Sewell knows. He was there. He was on the receiving end of some of them. Now, back to the new candidate, Mary Coburn. She just signed up today. And by next week, she will be able to take donations. She's going to have to raise some money because, the St. Joe Company and the shady developers are going to do what they did for Paul Casto, who's also running again. We look up and Paul Casto has $43,000 or $44,000. Now, these seats usually only took about $10,000 to win. I raised $30,000 when I ran in 2018. And I mean, I raised it. I asked you for it. It sucked asking people for money to run for office, but I did. McConnell didn't have to ask because the money was put into an account by the Bay County contractors, the St. Joe Company, all of the political machine. And that's what has happened because Paul Casto, who's also running for Ward 1, has been loyal to them as well. And so they just threw a bunch of money in his campaign. They're probably going to do that for McConnell, but she is definitely a viable candidate. She can win this thing. And next week is when you can donate to her campaign and we can throw McConnell out on his ear. And more to follow on all of that. All right. It's really all I have for tonight. I wanted to share this very, very exciting news. There's only about less than a week left. I don't know when the cutoff is, but less than a week that people can sign up to run for office for Panama City Beach. And I was so glad to see this happen today. I want to thank those of you who support the show, to include the Unknown Patriot, a great supporter of the show. And also, if you would like to support my work, you can do that for as little as $5 a month by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Bernie Thompson, patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. It's anonymous. Nobody will know you're supporting me monthly. And it's called crowdfunding. It's a form of crowdfunding, and it is easy. And you can quit at any time by becoming a patron, patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. All right. Thank you so much for being with me. I'm going to wrap it up, and I will be back here with you very soon.